for new leadership at the White House has been over as the Democratic challenger Joe Biden clinched the presidential race as he went past the magical 270 electoral votes to become the 46th president of the U.S. The world communities wait with bated breath since last Tuesday to welcome the new president amid unprecedented interest generated by the U.S. presidential election has now been over as the Biden era begins in the U.S. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the top stories of the hour. The disgruntled faction of the ruling Nepal Communist Party urges Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to convene the Secretariat Committee meeting at the earliest. Parliamentary committee exhibits reluctance in probing in procurement process of essential health materials, facilitating a big relief for officials involved in the scam. Democrat Joe Biden clinches victory in the U.S. presidential election as vote counts in key states swing his way, becomes the 46th president of the U.S. And Hakim Ziyech inspires Chelsea's comeback win over Sheffield United, Chelsea up to third in the Premier League. The disgruntled faction of the ruling Nepal Communist Party led by Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal has urged Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to convene the Secretariat Committee meeting at the earliest. An informal Secretariat meeting chaired by Executive Chairman Dahal held on Friday and again yesterday morning at party headquarters in Dhumbarai has drawn attention of Premier Oli in writing demanding an immediate Secretariat Committee meeting. Spokesperson Naren Kaji Shrestha informed that Prime Minister did not give any decision regarding the demand.
उत्पन्न संकट का सन्दर्भमा छलफल गरेर पार्टी एकताको रक्षा गर्दै पार्टीका निर्णयहरूको कार्यान्वयनको प्रक्रिया अगाडि बढाउन सही समयमा नै समग्र छलफल गर्नु आवश्यक छ भन्ने कोणबाट कार्यकारी अध्यक्षले बारम्बार बैठकको आग्रह गर्नुभएको परिप्रेक्ष्यमा पनि बैठक हुन नसकेको स्थितिमा कार्यकारी अध्यक्षले प्रस्तावित गर्नुभएको सन्दर्भलाई मात्रै ध्यान दिँदै छिटै सचिवालयको बैठक बस्नका निम्ति कमरेड केपी शर्मा ओलीसँग पनि अनुरोध गरेका छौं। त्यो लिखित रूपमा अनुरोध गरेका छौं। कमरेड अध्यक्ष केपी शर्मा ओलीले बैठकको बारेमा आज निष्कर्ष दिनुभएको छैन। हामीले सकभर भोलि नै नभए पछिसम्ममा बैठक बसेर यी सबै विषयहरूमा गम्भीरतापूर्वक छलफल गरौं र पार्टीलाई एकताबद्ध बनाउने, विधि र पद्धतिको आधारमा पार्टी सञ्चालन गर्ने, पार्टीको निर्णय सबैले कार्यान्वयन गर्ने, छलफलको स्वतन्त्र र काम कारबाहीमा एकरूपताको पद्धतिको आधारमा अगाडि बढ्ने दिशातिर जाने गरी निष्कर्ष निकालौं भनेर अनुरोध गरेका छौं।
However, sources said that during the meeting with 5 leaders of the disgruntled faction, Premier Oli accused them for forming intra-party faction as he bluntly rejected to request to convene the meeting. 5 Secretariat members, including Executive Chairman Dahal, Senior Leader Duo Chalnath Khanal and Madhav Kumar Nepal, Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam and Spokesperson Naren Kaji Shrestha have demanded a meeting to discuss several issues including implementation of Standing Committee meetings, decision combating COVID-19 and other contentious issues within the party. Amid escalating dispute within the ruling Nepal Communist Party, Executive Chairman Dahal had held discussions with Secretariat member close to him at party's office, Dhumbarai, on Friday, while Prime Minister Oli had held discussions with his close associates in Balwata late in the evening the same day. The ongoing discussions among the leaders have been considered as significant as both the camps are looking for alternative strategies against each other. Prime Minister Oli had already warned the Dahal-led faction that the party would opt for a split if any decisions were made without his consent. The Dahal faction therefore has been terming the Secretariat meeting as informal. The coronavirus has continued its surge as a total of 2,753 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed yesterday, taking the total case tally to 191,636. Meanwhile, the death tally has climbed to 1,087 as 17 individuals succumbed to the virus yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, a total of 10,423 swab samples were tested yesterday, taking the test tally to over 1.52 million. The PCR test responded with 1,512 positive cases in the federal capital, as Kathmandu district confirmed 1,294 cases, while Lalitpur reported 141 and Bhaktapur registered 77 cases. Likewise, 2,206 individuals registered full recovery yesterday, taking the national recovery tally to 155,114, while the recovery rate stands at 81%. According to the Health Ministry, there are over 35,000 active cases in the country, with 6,515 corona patients in isolation centers, 28,920 in home isolation and 1,144 in various quarantine facilities. The ministry informed that 76 patients are receiving treatment with ventilator support, while 365 are in intensive care across different hospitals. Lack of proper decisions and poor leadership during the pandemic have affected most of the sectors, including health and education, as the government has failed in introducing clear-cut plans and implementing them. The scenario has turned from bad to worse after the mechanism set up under the coordination of Deputy Prime Minister for Crisis Management has become dormant. The Health Ministry had projected 92,000 COVID-19 cases in the country by mid-February next year. However, the number is already closing on 200,000. Nepal has the highest spread rate of coronavirus. Despite the health crisis, the government has gone against the constitutional provision of providing cost-free test and treatment for coronavirus and thereby undermined the directive of the Supreme Court. According to the health experts, there has been a tendency on the part of the government to shy away from the responsibility instead of formulating foolproof plans and implementing them. Likewise, the government has also lacked in executing proper plannings in education sector during this time of pandemic. The National Examination Board is still uncertain regarding the examination of grade 12 scheduled to begin from 24th of this month, which it has also announced a schedule for grade 11 final exam. Similar circumstances have created more confusion in academic calendar of schools and universities. The role of the mechanism set up by the government to work on crisis management, led by Deputy Prime Minister Ishwar Pokhrel, has become passive for the past 2 months, while the Health Ministry too seems to lack plans to control the pandemic. The Parliament's Public Account Committee has observed an uncanny silence in the infamous procurement process of essential health materials linked with Deputy Prime Minister Ishwar Pokhrel and Health Minister Bhanubhakta Dhakal, even as seeking documents related to scam some 5 months ago. The committee, while corresponding with the Department of Health Services on 28th of June, had demanded all the documents on the alleged irregularities in the procurement of necessary health equipment for controlling the spread of coronavirus. The department submitted all required documents at the committee on 6th of July, in which it was revealed that the government had assigned Omni Group to procure the health materials under the direction of Health Minister Dhakal while reaching legal provision. Committee members raised the issue of irregularities in the procurement during the committee meetings. However, the committee did not proceed with investigation despite holding 3 meetings. Meanwhile, the government assigned the Nepal Army to procure the essential health equipment following widespread criticism of the government deal. It may be recalled that Deputy Prime Minister and coordinator of the Steering Committee of the Corona Crisis Management Center, Ishwar Pokhrel, had directly intervened in the procurement process and asked the Nepal Army to bring materials from China that were not recognized by the World Health Organization. There were more drama to follow as the army dragged itself into controversy over the substandard quality and the inflated price list of the equipment procured. The committee had sought the documents related to the procurement process after it was found that most of the goods were bought above the market price. Experts, meanwhile, have criticized the parliamentary committee for shying away from its role in preventing irregularities after being hesitant in probing two major cases of financial irregularities, giving disputed officials involved in the scam a big relief. There is a public complaint that the budget spent on the coronavirus pandemic has not been transparent. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local representatives of Kailali district how have they worked towards making the expenditure on COVID-19 transparent. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
विभिन्न मिडियाबाट आउनुहुन्छ कति सूचनाको हक प्रयोग गरेर मतलब त्यसमा कति खर्च भएको छ कुन कुन शीर्षकमा कति खर्च भयो त्यो अनुसार उहाँहरूले जुन डाटा लिन चाहनुहुन्छ उहाँहरूलाई हामीले डाटा दिइरहेका छौँ
कार्यपालिकाबाट त्यो खर्चलाई गर्ने वा नगर्ने भन्ने कुरा हाम्रो डाक्टर साहबले पनि हेर्नुहुन्छ हाम्रो समितिले हेर्छौँ सबैले हेर्छौँ त्यसपछि मात्र त्यो खर्च हामी गर्छौँ त्यसैले चाहिँ त्यो खर्च भइसकेपछि पनि कार्यपालिका ल्याएर यो खर्च भएको छ र भन्ने किसिमको पनि जानकारी आउँछ र अनि त्यसलाई अनुमोदन गर्ने काम पनि गर्छौँ
तर खर्चको जुन त्यो खर्च आइरहेछ त्यो खर्चको बारेमा चाहिँ केही न केही काहीँनिर चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ माग्नुपर्ने हुन्छ कि खर्च चाहिँ विशुद्ध हिसाबले पारदर्शिताका हिसाबले हैन खर्च गर्नुपर्ने ठाउँमा खर्च भयो कि त्यतिकै खर्च भयो भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले बुझ्नुपर्छ त्यो कार्यपालिकाको बैठकमा हामी कुरा राख्छौँ
खर्च जो हामीले गरेका छौँ त्यो जनताहरूलाई प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा हामीले चाहिँ थाहा पाउने गरी मिडियामा दिएर र यो पत्र पत्रिकाहरूलाई व्यापक रूपमा चाहिँ हामीले यसरी गरेका छौँ भन्ने लगायतका सम्पूर्ण विभिन्न माध्यमका सूचनाहरू प्रवाह गरेर
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why has the Public Accounts Committee stopped the probe into the irregularities of procurement of medical equipment? Your options are A. Political pressure, B. Reluctant committee, and C. Influence of interest group. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. The disgruntled faction of the ruling Nepal Communist Party urges Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to convene the Secretariat Committee meeting at the earliest. Parliamentary committee exhibits reluctance in probing in procurement process of essential health materials, facilitating a big relief for officials involved in the scam. Democrat Joe Biden clinches victory in the US presidential election as vote counts in key states swing his way, becomes the 46th president of the US. And Hakim Ziyech inspires Chelsea's comeback win over Sheffield United, Chelsea up to third in the Premier League. And those were our latest headlines. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.